Hey Math 1 students, this is from I think this is day 4, and the cooldown that goes with this lesson is called box of t-shirts, I believe. So, key concepts. An equation that contains only one unknown quantity, or one quantity that can vary, is called an equation in one variable. For example, we have this equation 2L plus 2W equals 72. It represents the relationship between the length and the width of a rectangle that has a perimeter of 72 units. This actually has two variables, but if we know that the length is 15 units, we can rewrite the equation as 2 times 15 plus 2w equals 72, or simplifying, 2 times 15 is 30, and 2w makes 72. That's an equation in one variable. So, an equation that contains two unknown quantities, or two quantities that vary, is called an equation in two variables. A solution to such an equation is a pair of numbers that makes the equation true. We've talked a lot about the definition of a solution to an equation. It's a number or numbers that replaces a variable or variables that make an equation true. So, two numbers are required for an equation in two variables to be a solution. So let's say Tyler spends $45 on t-shirts and socks. That's his total amount of money. A t-shirt costs $10 and a pair of socks costs $2.50. If T represents the number of t-shirts and P represents the number of pairs of socks that Tyler buys, we can represent this situation with the equation 10T plus 250P equals $45. This equation right here. So this is an equation in two variables, and there's more than one possible pair of values for T and P that can make the equation true. But I want to make sure everybody's very, very clear on how this equation connects to what we saw. T-shirts cost $10 each. If we have one t-shirt, that would cost $10. Two t-shirts would be $20. Three t-shirts would be $30. 145 t-shirts would be, well, you'd have to take $10 a shirt times 145. And for t-shirts, we take 10 times T. So this is the cost of t-shirts. Well, if 10T is the cost of t-shirts, 250P, that's our cost of socks, because they cost $2.50 a pair, and P is the number of pairs of socks. And if I combine those two things together, cost of t-shirts, cost of socks, that's equal to the total cost. Let's take a look at the cooldown. So we have an empty shipping box that weighs 250 grams. The box is then filled with t-shirts. Each t-shirt weighs 132.5 grams. The equation W equals 250 plus 132.5. T represents the relationship between the quantities in this situation, where W is the weight in grams of the filled box and T the number of shirts in the box. Name two possible solutions. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a look at this equation right here. And since we're looking for a pair of values that make this equation true, the best thing to really do, since the weight of the box depends on how many t-shirts we're shipping, just pick two different numbers for the number of t-shirts, put it in, and see how much that weighs. And then what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, one of my solutions is T equals and W equals whatever numbers you get. And then the other solution is T equals some number and the weight that goes with that number of t-shirts. That's it. For number 2, consider this equation. The solution. In this situation, what does the solution to this equation tell us? Well, the solution would be a number that replaces T that makes this equation true. Keep in mind that this equation is a little different from the one from number 1. What's different about it? What is this 2900? And how does that relate to whatever value would make this equation true? If you have any questions, let me know.